Hi, Andy here. In this tutorial we're going to look at 3D printing, more specifically designing for 3D printing. There's been lots of talk in the press recently about 3D printers like this, producing PPE equipment for the NHS and various other organisations. Now, not everyone has access to one of these machines, but the software used to design for them is free, and that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at how to design for it, create your files, and then at a later date you can always take them down to your local library or some other organisation and get them printed out. But today we're going to focus on the design element. Okay, so the software we're going to use is called Tinkercad, and you access it on a website. Nothing to download, you just log into the website and away to go. So I'm going to search for Tinkercad, and we found the website here, so I'm going to click on there. And the first time you visit, you're going to have to create an account. So to do that, we're going to click Join Now. I'm going to create a personal account with an email address. I have to fill in a few details, so where I'm from, date of birth. There we go. Set a email address and password. So you need these details to log in and access the things that you create in the future. So I'm just going to create an account. I don't want any marketing information, so I'm going to click Done. And that's our account created. Now, the first time you create an account, it's going to give you this tutorial, but we're going to skip this and I'm going to do my own. Okay, so to create our first design, we're going to go up here and click Create a New Design. And this, after a few seconds, will give us a workspace. Now, we can control our workspace using the mouse. The left mouse button will select things. Obviously, you can't see much at the moment because there's nothing to select. You can zoom in and out with the scroll wheel, and you can use the right mouse button to move the workspace around. Okay, so everything we create is made up of shapes. We have basic shapes, text and numbers, we have characters, all kinds of things here that you can play with. Now, we make more advanced shapes by combining one or more shapes together. So let's say we've got a box. So this is our box here. And we want to put a roof on it. So I'm going to choose a roof. Now, we want the roof to be up on top of here, so I can drag it about. But at the moment, it's too low. So you see this little cone-shaped tool at the top? We can use this to raise it up. And then we just need to line it up so it's on top of our box. Now, you might find it can be quite difficult to get things to line up perfectly. So you can see it doesn't quite line up there. So what I can do is I can select the whole thing. So we've got both items selected here. And there's an option up here on the menu called Align. Now, if I click that, we're going to get these dots around the edge, which is where we're going to align. So I'm going to align this side. And you'll see we're now aligned, but we're just a little bit too high. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to move it down a bit so it touches. And there we have it. Now, at the moment, this is two separate shapes. So what I can also do is I can select the two. And up here, we've got this group option. So if I click on that, we now end up with one solid shape. Okay, so next we might want to take some of the material away. We might want to make this a hollow shape, for example. So I can get a box, but you see this grey box here is a negative space. Okay, so this will make more sense as we go along. So if I say this box over here is 20 by 20, you can see the dimensions there when I hover over a corner. And at the moment, this one is also 20 by 20. So let's change those dimensions and we'll make this 18 by 18. So it's now a bit smaller. And I'm going to place this inside of that box. So we'll go underneath. And again, we will use our Align tool to line it up so that it's centered. And this time, if I combine those two shapes, so if I group them, what we now end up with is a hollow inside of our shape. Okay, now we're starting to look a bit like a house. So let's carry on with that. So let's get another box. And this time we'll make it really, really small. So I can get that. Let's make it kind of. Let's make that down like that. So bring it down to the ground. So we want it to be at 0. And let's move that into the center there. It's a bit small that for a door, isn't it? So let's just make that a bit higher. Like that. And make sure that we pass through the wall. Put that in the center again. So I'll group the two items together, choose that, make sure it's in the center. And now this time, again, select the two items and group. And we now have a doorway in our house. So again, let's get a box. Let's make this smaller. So for example, let's make it, what do you reckon, 5 by 5 by 5. About window size. It's hard to tell when it's so far away, so let's move it closer. Yeah, that's not a bad size. Let's move that up there. Now, rather than doing this over and over again, what we can do is we can Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Now I've got another window there. Let's do that again. Control V. And move one up there. Control V. Move one over there. Let's try and get them all roughly the same. So again, let's choose that and make them line up. Nope, we don't want it that way, we want it that way. So they're already in line there. Let's select both of those, and again, I can use the arrow keys to move things around. Same with those. And now if I select all those and group it together, we now have a house. Now, that model that we've made, we can export. And if we export it as an STL file, that creates a file that will go straight to a 3D printer. Or I can just go back to Tinkercad, to my dashboard, and that automatically saves my model. So there we have it. There's our model. That's the first one I created. There's our model. Just give it a few seconds to load, and we can download it from there. So that's the basics of Tinkercad. Really, really easy software to use. Have a play around with it, see what you can make, and maybe show me what you've done in the comments.